Hey friend, it is Kate here. Thank you so much for jumping on my channel and joining me here today. Now I have got a fabulous way to start off your day. However, if you're watching this later in the evening, there's nothing wrong with doing a morning stretch later on in your day too. It's a-okay. We're not doing anything crazy. But this is one of my favorite ways, especially if I'm not really in the mood to get down on my hands and my knees. Everything we're doing is standing upright. You could be in your office and just jump up out of the chair and do this whole little sequence with us. So I hope you enjoy wherever you are, whatever time of the day it is for you. Roll out your mat or roll your office chair away, and let's get started. So we'll start standing on our mat, and feet can be about hip distance apart, or whatever really feels good for you, maybe a little wider, that's okay. But just go ahead and lightly bend your knees, nod the head a little, and let your eyes close. Take a moment here and just notice what's going on in your body today. Is it this morning? Are we still waking up? Maybe it's a little later in the day. It's always okay to do some stretching, even if it's called a morning stretch. There's nothing wrong with doing this in the evening too. With eyes opened or closed, start to straighten the legs just a little bit if they're still bent. And I want you to think of growing longer out of your sitting bones, almost growing up and away from the ground, making space all the way from your feet, through your legs, from your hips, up to your shoulders, and almost imagine someone pulling your ears all the way up to the sky. Take a big inhale, let your shoulders rise up to your ears. As you exhale, let them fall down the back. Again, inhale, shoulders lift. Exhale, let them fall back. A couple of times, just circling the shoulders at your own pace, noticing what's feeling good, what we would like to kind of concentrate on at this moment. And then pause for a moment. Again, stand taller, stand straighter. Did you lose any of that length in your spine? Not the end of the world if we did. And then this time, inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, let them roll forward. So just taking those circles in the opposite direction. Big, small, fast, or slow. Just listen to what feels good for you. No hurry, no rush. Soften those shoulders down. Again, stand taller, stand straighter. This time, almost imagine broadening across your chest as well. Lightly blink the eyes open if they're still closed. Inhale, swim the hands up overhead. Maybe take your gaze with you. Just lightly look up to the ceiling. Exhale, flip the palms, bring your fingertips down to your sides, and drop your chin to your chest. Again, inhale, swim the hands up. Exhale, flip the palms, press them down. One more time, big inhale, reach the hands up nice and high. Exhale, flip the palms and allow your gaze just to go straight center. Lightly bend the knees, and this time take the hands, clasp them behind your head, open your elbows nice and wide. Notice, did you just splay the ribs? Right now, let's go ahead and keep them together, belly button in, low back nice and long. A light bend in those knees, take a big inhale, and a little twist to the right. Now take a minute. Did you just let your hips kind of twist with you and your knees go out of alignment? Maybe we want to make our twist a little smaller so we can keep our knees and hips in one line as we twist. Bring yourself back to center. Same thing, other direction, a little twist. Again, not letting those hips move, but keeping them as still as possible. Slowly return to center. Again, big inhale, almost lightly tip the chin forward so we can lengthen through that cervical spine, and a little twist. I'm almost thinking of looking underneath my armpit, lightly down, tucking that chin again just a tad bit so I can lengthen through my cervical spine, and return. Same thing, other direction, little twist. This time looking underneath the opposite elbow, slowly let that go. And then from here, roll your shoulders back. Now almost imagine puffing your heart and chest up. Do find a little spinal extension. Maybe we keep our legs straight. Maybe we keep them bent, your choice. But we can take that little thoracic stretch back with the support of our head and our hands. Take a big inhale. Use your abdominal muscles to bring you all the way back to center and let your hands fall down to the side. Take a moment here, close the eyes. Just notice how we feel a little different, even from just that tiny bit of movement. It doesn't have to be a whole lot to get some lovely mobility, a little extra stretching in our lives. Flutter those eyes open if you'd like to. Dip your chin to your chest, bend your knees, roll forward into a great big forward fold, letting that head be heavy. Now imagine a little string attached to the top of your head. You might not come as far as I do. That's okay. If we're really struggling today, you could always come up to the side of your bed or a chair or use the wall to help support you up. There is no one right answer. It's more about draping your spine over and across your lap and just letting yourself hang heavy wherever you are. Now from here, maybe we want to lightly sway the hips a little side to side. Maybe we even want to circle around, kind of waking up your ankles a little bit. Going in both directions. And if your hands aren't on the ground, again, they could be on your shins, they could be on a chair. You just find what works for your body. And then go ahead and return to center. And from here, even if we can touch the ground, I do want our hands on our shins or our thighs, but press into your legs and reach the top of your head forward. Take a great big full inhale here. Exhale, soften down, find that forward fold. Again, press into the tops of your shins or your thighs. Pull that belly button in, lengthen through the small of your back, broaden across your chest just like we did while standing. Exhale, forward fold. Again, press out and away. Take a big breath in. Let that go. Let your hands hang heavy. Let the top of your head relax down. Maybe sway again, noticing any changes. And from here, deeply bend the knees. Let your sitting bones kind of reach towards the ground. And then inhale, begin to straighten the legs. Now, they may or may not straighten fully. That's okay. Again, bend the knees, rounding like a little teeny tiny ball. And slowly reach those sitting bones up to the sky. I'm kind of tucking the tail, curling deeper through my spine as I bend my knees. And then it's almost, not quite, but almost like I'm trying to arch my back. It's more about trying to stick those sitting bones up to the sky so I can begin to lengthen through my hamstrings. Once or twice more like that. And you might not straighten like I am. You might have your hands up higher on the wall, on a chair. That's a-okay. It's not about matching what I'm doing, but waking up our body and just finding some movement that feels good. Last one, go ahead and bend those knees. And now this time, I slowly want us to roll ourselves all the way up to standing. Let the head be the very last thing to come upright. Take a moment again, maybe close the eyes. And once more, notice, how are we feeling different from when we began? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just taking this time to listen to you. Take one more big inhale. Big sigh out. And from here, I just want you to lightly bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and step your left foot back. We're in a teeny tiny baby lunge. Nothing big, nothing crazy. It is often that at the beginning of my day that I have a very swayed back going on if I'm not paying attention to my abdominal muscles. So I want to pull my belly button in. I want to lengthen through my spine. I want to think about flattening out the front part of my left hip. Sometimes you can even take your hand, bring it to the front of that left hip, and feel. If I stick my butt out, there's almost a crease there. If I lightly press the front of my pubic bone forward, I get a little more stretch. So go ahead and hold right here for a moment. It doesn't have to be the deepest lunge to enjoy right at the beginning of our day. Maybe take those hands up high. Think about me holding your wrist, pulling you up and away from your waist. Maybe give your fingers a little wiggle. Maybe put a smile on your face. Maybe we would need to yawn because it's first thing in the morning. That's okay. And then go ahead, flip the palms, press them down. Now, just like we did at the start of class, take the hands, bring them behind your head, open your elbows wide. Almost think of pressing your head into your hands back into your head to create just a little resistance, and then ever so lightly dip your chin to your chest just so we can find a little length there. Take a big inhale. Exhale, a little twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, little twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Last one, little twist to the right. all the way back to center. And like we did at the start of class, roll the shoulders, puff the heart and chest, find a nice big thoracic stretch. Now I am thinking of a little string picking up my sternum, pulling from my heart, lifting up to the sky, and I've got my hands there to cradle my head. So I don't have too much, or really I have no tension in my neck, ideally. Take a breath. Use your exhale, pull your belly button in, bring yourself back to center. Hop your feet together, back towards one another. Wiggle, shake it out, and when you're ready, hands on your hips. Step the opposite foot back. Find that little tiny lunge to the other side. Take a moment. What feels different from one side to the other? Hips, knees, ankles can be so imbalanced, especially first thing. Maybe we slept a little funny and one side feels a little wonky. That's okay. We're human. We're never going to be perfect. But just like we did on the other side, maybe take your hand to the front of your hip. Is there a crease there? Are you letting that Beyonce booty moment happen? We want to pull that navel in. We want to lengthen through our spine. We want to just enjoy our little tiny baby lunge. Nothing big, nothing crazy. Swim those hands up nice and high. Find that big stretch just like we did on the other side, reaching our fingertips up, wiggling, 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 and then flip the palms, bring them all the way down. Again, swim them up, this time clasping them behind your head, opening your elbows wide. A very light tuck of that chin to the chest. Think about drawing your low belly up and in. It's like a little scoop from that belly button. Take a big inhale. Little twist to the left. Again, bring yourself back to center. Again, little twist to the left. And back to center, or the right if you did the other side the first time. If you know me, you know that rights and lefts, we're always going to do both sides. So if you do the other side, it's a-okay. And then roll the shoulders, puff the heart and chest, find a little bit of an opening across your chest. I almost imagine someone is lightly pushing my elbows back behind me so I can feel that lovely opening across my pecs. Again, it's still like a string is picking up my sternum, and I'm just enjoying that nice big stretch. Take a breath. Exhale, pull yourself back upright, reach your fingertips high, and then hop your feet together. Give yourself a wiggle if you need it. Let's take our feet a little bit wider than the mat this time. Inhale, lift the fingertips up nice and high. Exhale, clasp the fingertips together and open the elbows wide. Draw the ribs in, belly button pulls in, grow out of your legs. I'm almost thinking about trying to pull my heels towards one another, turning on my inner thighs. Take a big inhale. Exhale, little twist to the right. Just like we did with our knees lightly bent earlier and our legs together, we don't want to let our hips go wonky. We want to keep them the same. So keep those inner thighs working. Pull yourself back to center. Little twist other direction. Don't let that low body move. Big inhale back to center. Roll the shoulders, puff the heart and chest. Turn on your that thigh butt connection point. Pull the navel in and then exhale, slowly return. Release the fingertips. Dip your chin to your chest. Bend your knees. Roll all the way down. Now with our legs a little wider, you might have more range of motion. Maybe you can really drape all the way down to the ground. Maybe we need to stay a little lifted. It's okay. But let that head reach. Oftentimes I see people craning their neck here or just kind of even pushing it back. Let it be heavy. Relax those muscles there. Go ahead, sway the hips side to side. Nod the head. We might feel silly, but who cares? No one's watching us, right? Just enjoying the movement in our body. Notice what direction your toes are pointing. We can be turned out or parallel as long as our knees are pointing in the same direction. And you might actually want to play with moving from one to the other, waking up our hips a little bit more, kind of lightly moving in that ball and socket joint. Maybe it feels nice to keep the toes pointing forward. And then again, swivel the hips. Let that head be heavy. No hurry, no rush. Whether your legs are turned out or parallel, bend the knees a little deeper and start to roll yourself all the way up to standing. Again, think of drawing your inner thighs towards one another, belly button up and in. Big inhale, hands lift high. Exhale again, clasp the hands behind your head, elbows nice and wide. Big breath, lift the top of your head higher, dipping the chin to the chest. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Roll the shoulders, puff the heart and chest. Find a lovely little thoracic stretch, a little chest opener. Pull yourself all the way back. Bend the knees. Go ahead and walk your feet back underneath your hips. And then one more time, let's step our right foot back, finding a small little lunge. And then this time, belly button pulls up and in. And all I want us to do is spiral our foot so our heel is lightly angling back, our toes are lightly angling forward, so we're in the tiniest of little warrior ones. Now, sometimes you'll hear instructors say in warrior one, you should totally get your hips totally squared forward. That's not always feasible in every body. What I do want you to focus on is trying at the very least to angle your hips towards the front corner. You can also play with what our foot is doing right here. It doesn't have to be that very particular warrior one that maybe we're always used to doing. But belly button pulls up and in, lift the hands high, grow up and out of your waist. It's like I'm pulling your hands up. Take a great big breath. And then flip the palms, press them down. They can come to your hips. I want you to straighten your front leg. Think of pulling your front leg towards your back heel. Again, there's a nice little lift or engagement between your inner thighs. Grow out of your waist. From here, take a big inhale. And as you exhale, a very small hinge forward. Nothing big, nothing crazy. I could go much deeper, but it's not about taking my body really low. Right now, it's finding that engagement through my inner thighs, finding that length through my low back. Take another breath. Maybe hinge a little deeper. Where are you feeling any stretching in your body? Now, there's not a right or wrong spot. Oftentimes, you'll hear instructors say you should or you will feel something in one part of the body. The fact is, we're all so different. If you feel something in a different place than I do, that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means that we have different balances in our body, different strengths, different weaknesses. Take another breath. As you exhale, I want you to bend your front knee and push yourself all the way back up. Straighten those legs again, tone your inner thighs towards one another, grow out of the waist. If we'd like to take that deeper, we can reach our hands up overhead. We'll take that same little hinge, but this time growing our fingertips out and away. That might be too much for us today. Maybe bring those hands back to the hips. It's okay. If your arms are reaching out, think of hugging your inner arms towards your ears, softening your shoulders down the back. Big inhale. Exhale, maybe deepen the hinge one more time. One more big inhale. As you exhale, rebend your front knee, pull yourself up. Beautiful job. Hop your feet together. Wiggle it out. And then same thing, other side. Start with that tiny little lunge. Take a moment and then press the heel down. My back heel is reaching towards the back right corner of the mat. My toes are kind of angling towards the front left. Again, lift the hands high for a moment. Grow up and out of your waist. Think of turning on your thigh. Think of cinching the waist. Even though we're stretching, we want to keep these areas engaged to protect our muscles, to protect our joints. Bring those hands back down to your hips. Lift up and away as you straighten your front leg. Big inhale. Exhale, little hinge. Take a pause, take a moment. Think of squaring those hips back, lifting up from that belly button, drawing the ribs closed, but still opening across our chest. So many things going on in our body. You're doing wonderful. Again, maybe deepen the hinge a little more. We don't have to. Maybe that other spot felt better, and that's okay. No worries. When you're ready, rebend, push that foot, straighten both legs, tone your inner thighs together. This time, if we want to, lift those fingertips up. Take a big deep breath and a little hinge. Hold there. Are you letting your hips kind of be wonky? What's happening there? Can you keep them as even as possible? Toning that belly, turning on your thigh. Maybe deepen the hinge a little bit more. What would you like to do? No hurry, no rush. Big inhale. Rebend the knee, push yourself all the way back up. Hop your feet together. Wiggle it out. Close the eyes and stand up tall and straight. Just a few minutes of work can make a huge difference in how we feel as we start off our morning. So spend a moment here. Eyes closed. Maybe bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your stomach, just to check in, to feel your heartbeat, to decide what you want to focus on for the rest of your day. Sometimes setting ourselves up with a little bit of movement is just what we need. It can be a great way to wake yourself up, to check in with your body and to set a lovely intention. Take a big inhale through your nose. Big sigh out the mouth. Another big deep inhale. Let it go. One more time. Big sigh out. Seal your lips together. Again, stand a little taller, a little straighter. Feel the engagement of your abdominal muscles, your glutes. Not only did we get a lovely little stretch, but hopefully an extra little engagement through those areas that can be so helpful just as we move about throughout our day. When you feel ready, release your hands, lightly blink your eyes open, and as always, give yourself a pat on the back, thanking yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I really hope you enjoyed our little standing morning stretch, and I certainly hope you enjoy the rest of your day.